Every human being on the planet is a very beloved child of the God of peace. Therefore, we're already one, already reconciled, already united. The gift of peace was given long ago. We're already there. And the deeper you can wake up to the spiritual truth of reality, which is our common unity, and want to go really deep into it, see that we're one with all creatures and all creation, that life is a journey of already having arrived in infinite peace. You could never hurt another human being ever again. Much less be silent when 1 billion people are starving to death, or 30 wars, or 25,000 nuclear weapons, or global warming are leading us to the brink of non-existence. So there's nothing passive about nonviolence. It's no longer even a tactic or a strategy. We're talking about an entire new way of life. It's spiritual and practical. Nonviolence says is active love, pursuing the truth of our common oneness with all of creation, given our entire lives in love for the human race, reconciling with everyone, resisting every structure of injustice and violence, allowing the God of peace to disarm our hearts of the violence within us, making us instruments of disarming love. From this night forward, saying, we are people of unconditional, non-retaliatory, sacrificial, all-encompassing, all-inclusive, universal love. No matter what they say, we're going to love everyone with one catch. And it's big. There is no cause, none, however noble, whatever they tell us, for which we will ever, ever, ever again support the taking of a single human life. No, it gets worse than that. If Dr. King were here, he would say, no, John, you missed the whole point. He'd say, nonviolence begins, are you ready? In your giving your life, being part of the global movement in the struggle of justice for the poor, creating the new disarmed world, you are willing to accept suffering in the struggle for justice without even a trace of the desire to retaliate with further violence. This is, those of you who are Christians, called the cross. You know, not only are we not going to put people on the cross, not only are we not going to kill, we are willing to undergo the cross to be killed in the struggle for justice and peace, like Dr. King on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel. So nonviolence, Gandhi says, it's more powerful than all the weapons of the world combined. We're going to go deep into interior nonviolence. From now on, you and I are going to try to be nonviolent toward ourselves. We're not going to cooperate with our own violence. And you're going to say, oh, I'm such a schmuck, I can never. Well, we're not going to stop right there. You know, that's we're not going to put ourselves down. We're going to try to cultivate interior nonviolence, whether you like it or not. I thought you'd laugh at that, but you know, we're going to try to have a nonviolent sacred heart. And then we're going to be nonviolent toward our spouses, nonviolent toward our children, nonviolent toward our neighbors, nonviolent toward everyone in Salt Lake City, nonviolent toward everyone in the church. It's going to be rough, but we're going to do it. Nonviolent toward everybody on the planet, and Gandhi says we're going to organize this methodology as a way of social change that always works. Joan Baez says the only thing that's a greater flop than nonviolence is violence. You know, violence is what has brought us to this moment. So Gandhi marches to the sea, picks up the illegal salt, and gets the British Empire to leave India nonviolently. Dr. King marches into Birmingham, breaks the court injunction on Good Friday in 1963, and brings the segregation laws down nonviolently. 1 million people, led by 1,000 trained nuns in the mid-1980s, marching into Manila and getting the Marcos dictatorship to leave in 3 days, nonviolently. Friends, the statistics are now, in the last 25 years, 2/3 of the human race are actually involved in local grassroots nonviolent movements for radical change for justice and peace. The world is moving. We're just not hearing about it in the United States because we're, you know, at the top of the heap or in the empire, however you want to say it. This is our hope, the way to go, and it's so exciting. If you study that speech by Dr. King, it's the night before he was killed. he goes on for 20 minutes and he says, if I had every moment to live in history, I would choose this one. He said, we're going to be the people that are going to wake up and finally become people of nonviolence, whatever tradition we come from, and lead humanity back from the brink. Well, he was trying to be hopeful, too. So, I worked for years at the Fellowship of Reconciliation, which is the largest interfaith peace group in the world. And friends, I really invite you, I know some of you are non-Christian, to explore what I've come to, I'm convinced from having met thousands of peace activists, that nonviolence is the heart of every major religion. I wonder, too, if the future of the planet depends on interfaith nonviolence. Islam, the word means peace. There are hundreds of Muslims in the United States far more committed to radical nonviolence because of the Quran than Christians. Judaism has this spectacular vision of shalom, where the Holy Prophet says, someday these people are going to come along, they're going to beat their swords into plowshares, and no one will ever study war again. It's fantastic. Hinduism is embodied by Gandhi as engaged nonviolence, and don't even get me started on the Buddhists. The Buddhists are so over the top with nonviolence. I've been spending time with Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a great master, and I've gotten to know him. He's saying, we are going to be so peaceful, we are only breathing in peace. And only breathing out peace. We are going to live every moment awake and alive to the present moment of peace. And we're going to show compassion to all beings. No, let's not even stop there. Let's be compassionate to the earth and the air and the sky. It's spectacular. But if you can stand, I would propose for a few minutes the possibility that even Christianity, even Catholicism, is about nonviolence. Now, I know this is going to be rough, but hang in here with me. So there was this great theologian, John Mackenzie. He said, the only thing you can say for sure about Jesus is that he's nonviolent. Do you agree with that or not? For those of you who are Christian. Was Jesus violent or nonviolent? That's the question. If he's violent, I don't want anything to do with him. Because we're all violent. But if he's nonviolent, as the theologian says, for the Christian, if he's the incarnation of the God of nonviolence, then everything's up for grabs. Gandhi came along and said, he wrote endlessly about Jesus, and he said, he's fantastic. He says, Jesus is the most active person of nonviolence in the history of the world. I just love that, reading Gandhi saying it. And then Gandhi goes on and says, and the only people on the whole planet who don't know that Jesus was nonviolent are Christians. All of Jesus' teachings are a meticulous vision of nonviolence. Love one another. Love God. Be as compassionate as God. Hunger and thirst for justice. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. You know, just take up your cross and lay down your life in love for humanity. And then he says the most revolutionary words ever uttered in history. I'm convinced. It's the most political statement in the entire Bible. Love your enemies. That's the measure of your Christianity. Does he say, however, if they're really bad and you meet these 7 conditions, bomb the hell out of them? It's just not there. You know, I don't want to get off on this because I give retreats on this, but it's so interesting. Why should we love our enemies, Jesus? And Martin Luther King wrote a lot about this. I'm a student of that kid. You know, he should have said, love your enemies because that's the moral position to take. And he's right. That's not what you should say, love your enemies because that's the philosophically good. We do the good. And he's right. That's not. You should say, actually, love your enemies because it's the only practical political solution left on the planet. Unless we do this, we're going to destroy ourselves. Which is true. That's not why he does it. Personally, don't quote me on this. I'm hoping the media is gone. I don't think Jesus is very spiritual or pious. He hardly ever talks about God. He's hanging out with the wrong people. He's in trouble. They want to kill him. He's saying the wrong things. And yet there, at the most political statement he ever uttered, he gives the ultimate